Yeah, I noticed that. I think Brian's dressed like Huntmaster of the Fells. He's got his like hat on there. He's like, yeah.
He doesn't have the Huntsmaster of the Fells beard though.
No.
Disappointed.
He
He's
might be working on
it.
Right.
He's working on it. He saw this. He finally saw the art from the card when it said,
like, gotta grow the beard. Yeah.
You know, the official card spoiler went up, and he was like, oh well.
Guess
I'm going to be playing with Huntmaster of the Fells. I need to look like Huntsmaster of the Fells.
Yeah, it was either that or like play Havengul Lich and kind of don't eat, so you look like a skeleton.
Yeah. So anyway, when Snapcaster Mage came out, I like looked into getting a Mega Man arm, but
yeah, it's just too expensive. I think.
Yeah, it's just really expensive.
Really not worth it. Plus, you had to pay for the Snapcaster Mages.
Yeah.
You know, and if you didn't order them early, they're $30 each. I guess I'll just forego the Mega Man arm thing. Put like a jug of water there instead.
Yeah.
Just a milk jug filled with water tied to your arm. That close enough.
That'll do. All right, and we're off.
So we have mono green. Which one of these guys is going to get it done?
Very nice.
Brian
Gondun played a Forest. Cast a Birds of Paradise.
This is going to be bad. We're going to do this the entire match.
It seems like Brian done the same thing.
Alright.
Brian and Ryan playing. Oh, yeah. And the turn 2 Sword of Feast and Famine is about the best thing that could have happened in a mono green mirror.
Yeah, that might be it. I mean, if Brian can't deal with
Ryan's Sword of Feast and Famine.
I mean, if he can't, I mean, the birds might just pick up the sword and go all the way for the rest of the game.
I would not be surprised at all if that happened.
Do we have naturalize anywhere here in these?
Maybe one slime.
Creeping, corrosion, 2 naturalize.
He does have a slime.
And a slime. Oh, slime in the main deck, yeah.
So that's going to be his.
Oh, that's a way to do it.
Yeah.
This is really a mirror match. Like
this is interesting.
Both players on turn 1 birds. Both players on turn
2 sword.
Turn 2 sword of Feast and Famine. Although Brian does it with a Phyrexian Metamorph instead.
This is awesome.
Now we got to see can
Ryan's gonna go ahead and equip this sword. That's what I would do too.
This is just gonna be both players bashing back and forth with swords.
Does Ryan have a 1-drop to play? Do you have a 1-drop, Ryan? No.
Can he make use of that extra mana there? Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Attacks for 2.
Untaps his lands. Brian discards.
Brian goes down to 16 here.
What is that he discarded? Can't quite see.
I think it's a basic forest.
That's what I was thinking too.
So right now we're watching a match that involves 48 copies of the card Forest.
Yeah, and no Lost in the Woods. Come on.
Now, how many? I'd kind of forgotten that Forest was a Magic card.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Big Head Joe, my podcast partner, is fond of saying, you know the format's good when you can play green and not feel like a doofus. It's just like, yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Oh, and what's coming down here? Is Brian done for? It's 3. It could be a Daybreak Ranger. Oh, it's another Phyrexian Metamorph. Now Ryan's got double Sword of Feast and Famine.
Yikes. Yeah, that's... Can Ryan 18, match it with another Metamorph? This is kind of interesting. It's just like which player is going to have a different card. If Brian, plays another Metamorph here.
I think Ryan wins at this point. I think it's very difficult for Brian to win, even if he has like perfect chain of cards.
Right,
yeah,
because Ryan has first crack.
Yeah, he already got to hit him with a sword. Next turn he's gonna next turn he essentially like lightnings him.
Yeah.
And gets to cast something pre-combat, most likely. It just seems...
Yeah. Equip. That works.
And... gets number 2 of his own. Evening up the score, 16-16. Ryan's going to have to discard a card here. Let's see what he decides to discard. If you have the Bellowing Tangleworm, I think you should discard that one. Maybe we could get some information from the judge on what he discarded there. I was unable to see.
Yeah. Tangleworm would be a good one, for sure.
Not the card you want to draw here. Now Ryan has some interesting cards in his sideboard. A Corrosive Gale.
What, I don't even remember what that does. Is that like Hurricane at all? It sounds like it would be Hurricane-ish. I can't remember what it does. I can look it up.
I thought it was...
Bellowing Tangleworm is what he discarded. That's a nice discard. Man.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to be discarding here.
Right.
Corrosive Gale. Let's take a look.
All right, there's acidic slime for Ryan. Ryan has all the answers this game, it looks like. And even though Brian was able to match that sort of feast and famine, it's not looking good.
Wait, Ryan didn't bash here?
What do you mean? I think...
He didn't attack with his sword? He could have attacked with double-sworded guy. His opponent would have discarded 2 cards.
Right, but then he couldn't cast the acidic slime. I guess he just wanted to get rid of that opposing sword.
Yeah,
but now he's open to. Well, he does have. He's got double sword.
I mean, I think it's over anyway. He kind of like take any line, but
yeah. See, I mean, he would have just had 4 mana to play with, and maybe he just didn't have a play and thought it'd probably be better to slime away the opposing sword.
Corrosive Gale's the Hurricane Phyrexian mana. Seems like there are many on the internet who have tried to use it with Rage Extractor.
Yeah, everybody's making the point on Twitter that Huntmaster, even though we were talking about the birds being his only way to play it, Green Sun Zenith plays it too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it can obviously you can search it up with Green Sun Zenith, but and if you draw it, it's
if you draw it and not the birds, you're stuck. So there's a Thrun from Brian.
And is it really better than another copy of Thrun? I just don't know when I get it with Green Sun. I like the card a lot in blue decks, but I don't know if I like it in green decks.
I mean, that interaction with Snapcaster is really good. Puts it, it's exactly what I wanted to do with it. Not the necessarily Snapcaster interaction, but I mean, I want to put it in a blue deck. I thought it looked like a pretty great card for a blue deck.
Or just a deck with instants in general.
Yeah.
You want to be able to just pass the turn with it.
I mean, let's be honest, I really just wanted to put it in a blue deck.
Yeah. I just want to play instants.
Yeah. Which is...
Sorcery Speed Magic. I think this acidic slime may pick up a sword, or maybe the bird will pick up sword number 2.
Yeah, if the bird picks up sword number 2...
If Ryan wants to use 5 mana again this turn, he could spend all 4 and double equip the slime, attack with the slime, hit Brian for 6, make Brian have no more hand, and then cast a 5-drop. Seems like a pretty good line of play.
It does, yeah. We don't know what's in Ryan's hand there, but it'd sure be nice if he had a Green Sun Zenith that he could just deal with that Thrun really easily with that 5 mana that he has left. Yeah, it looks like he just equips the slime and gets in with 2 guys with swords.
And now if he had just double equipped the slime here, he's going to get to untap his lands anyway. And then he would have access to extra mana from that bird. And maybe he doesn't need that mana this turn, but he might need it on a later turn.
Right, yeah, I see what you're saying. That might have been a better play, but I guess splitting it up isn't terrible. Really would like to see what's in their hands. Well, Brian probably has nothing. What's he got? 1 card. And there's Green Sun. Is this going to be for Thrun?
Probably.
Green Sun for Thrun.
Green Sun for Thrun.
I think I saw a checklist card in there, which means he probably just passed the Huntmaster. Would that be the only?
No, he actually has Daybreak Rangers, not Huntmasters.
Could have been the.
Brian has the Huntmaster, and Ryan has the Daybreaks.
Yeah. Okay. So.
It's confusing. I know it's Ryan and Brian.
Playing
mono
a
green.
Dungrove Elder.
Mono green.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he doesn't have to deal with that Thrun right now. He's got.
Dungrove Elder's kind of just better. I've had to play mono white decks against Dungrove Elder carrying Sword of War and Peace, so I understand the plight of the Dungrove Elder with a sword that gives something protection from your deck.
Yeah. Well, Garrick there to help Brian put up a fight. He immediately busted just to draw some cards. So trying to recover from all these hits he's taken with the sword.
I like that Brian does that. I think that, you know, I often see people have a Garrick Primal Hunter and just make a 3/3 when they could be using it as a Tidings. And, you know, a lot of the time their opponent jumps through a hoop, spends a card, and is able to get rid of the Garrick and just leave their opponent with 3/3. And sure, you know, you just got a, you know, favorable interaction. You made a 3/3, your opponent spent a card, they probably had to attack it also. But is that really better than drawing 4 cards?
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of depends on the timing of it too, because right now, like, all right, Brian drew 4 cards, but he's tapped out. He can't make any use of those 4 cards if Ryan is able to do something here that will kill Brian. Like, for instance, if he has another Green Sun Zenith and just gets a Thrun to just.
Oh, I think it's just dead on board.
Oh yeah, I mean, it doesn't, actually, I can't even get it. Never mind, they have pro green. It doesn't even matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game was over on turn 3.
when
Ryan cast the second sword.
Second sword, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So mono green gets it done versus mono green in game 1. Wonder if we should start I wonder if we should start referring to these guys by their last names, make it a little bit easier.
Looks like Ryan has some type of wildlife scene on his shirt.
And in his deck.
Yes. You know, after I go hiking, I always want to play green decks. I just love the scenery.
I think for me, it's just summertime. I mean, that actually happens. Like, it'll be summer and everything's like, it's spring and all the trees are, you know, green and everything. And it's like, I want to play a green deck. I'm feeling really in touch with nature right now.
Yeah.
Like forests. And then I remember green's not really that good, so I don't. At least, usually, green's not very, very good.
It's funny. I think, for me, I think I'm also somewhat seasonal with my deck choices. I like to play
that too. For some reason, go ahead.
Like summer and Christmas time, I play aggro decks usually, and then all the time in between, I play combo decks.
It's weird.
So
with mine, it's more like I
want to play.
I
always play control.
Yeah, I want to play like decks with black in them. Like around Halloween, like around the fall, it's like everything's dying. I'm like, yeah, I feel the power of the black man. I want to play black decks with my blue. You know, always trying to play blue, but it does seem like springtime. I want to play like aggressive decks for some reason. So, yeah, it must just be something with the seasons that affect my tendencies. It's really weird. But all right, looking at the sideboards here. I think both guys take the Bellowing Tangleworms out. I think. Unless he just wants something to discard the sword. But probably not.
I think Ryan's going to bring in his Glissa and his Viridian Corruptor and 2 Sword of Feast and Famine. And he's going to be taking out his Bellowing Tangleworm, his Thrun, his Daybreak Rangers, Oh, Ryan only has 2 copies of Strangleroot Geist.
Yeah, that's yeah, I didn't notice that either. That's kind of strange.
Wow.
I mean, it's such a good card. Maybe he just didn't. That seems odd to say. He just couldn't find them. But
No, it's not uncommon. He definitely could have found them. Wow.
On the other side of things, Brian, he's got tumble magnets. Interesting choice there.
Yeah, I think Ryan's deck is just much better equipped for this mirror. You know, he has Sword of Feast and Famine, and he has Gut Shots.
Right. Brian has 2 Sword of Feast and Famine in the sideboard here, so he's got Gut Shots in the sideboard. You almost think Brian's gonna make his deck look a little more like Ryan's main deck with his sideboard here, with just a couple of changes.
I'm also interested to
Glissa.
see. Ryan also has Precursor Golem, and the green deck has really no way to, you know, effectively beat the Precursor Golem. But then again, are a bunch of 3/3s really that good when your opponent just casts a Thrun or a Dungrove Elder and just blanks them all?
Yeah, it's
that's the issue. Now, I mean, the biggest card here is going to be Sword of Feast and Famine. They're going to have a Sword of Feast and Famine war in games 2 and 3. Glissa is a very good way to break the parity there.
Right, and both players have Glissa.
Both players,
just one copy each, right? Yeah.
So they can Green Sun for that Glissa.
Right.
Another Green Sun Zenith may happen by the other player to kill the Glissa. Then Viridian Corruptor will be around, attempt to kill the more swords. Now Ryan also has a cheaper Green Sun Zenith target that kills artifacts besides the Acidic Slime in his sideboard. He does have a Viridian Corruptor.
Yeah.
It's another advantage
that
to
could
Ryan.
actually be very relevant. Both
now,
players, there's 3 naturalized in Ryan's sideboard, 2 in Brian's. We gotta go with the last names. Balderas has 3 naturalized, and Kuhn has 2. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of artifact.
It would be like the one with the hat, but they're both wearing hats.
Yeah, the one with the beard.
The one that looks like Huntmaster of the Fells, but then they both kind of look like Huntmaster of the Fells. So it's like,
wow. These guys they called each other early, this morning, and we're like, all right, let's both play mono green.
Let's both have the same name.
Yeah, they decided that this morning.
Yes. Is that a polar bear?
It could be a polar bear or like a wolf.
It could be a wolf.
Tough to tell. Can we get Ryan to stand up? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'd like to know what's on Ryan's shirt. Ooh. Oh, it's an eagle.
Okay,
nice.
I was wondering if it was an eagle.
And look, in the background there in the stars, I think there's an eagle spirit looming.
Wow.
On that shirt. That is a nice shirt. The eagle, a very majestic animal. For those of you who do not live in the U.S., the eagle is the greatest bird ever of all time. So,
but for those of you who live in the U.S.,
well, I mean, they already know that. That's just common knowledge. And it's taught to us in school, where we learn real information.
Right.
So again, on the sideboarding plans, so like I said before, Ryan taking out his Bellowing Tangleworm, his Thrund, and his Daybreak Rangers, bringing in a Viridian Corruptor, some sort of Feast and Famine, and a Glissa. He may even choose to bring in his Naturalizes. That's how important sort of Feast and Famine is here. Brian, on the other hand, does not have access to a Viridian Corruptor, but does have the Glissa and the sort of Feast and Famine, so he'll be bringing those in. And he may be bringing in Tumble Magnets as an anti-sword card.
Yeah, I feel like Brian Kuhn could pretty much bring in everything but the Ratchet Bombs. Like even the Ratchet Bomb's not a terrible idea, but it's too slow, maybe, to deal with the swords, because those swords are sitting there for 3 turns. It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, he's probably going to end up taking out his Bellowing Tangleworm and his Huntmaster of the Fells, and maybe some Strangleroot Geist, which aren't so great in the mirror. We're off to the races. Brian gets to lead things off with a turn 1 mana producer, the Llanowar Elves coming down there. Elf Druid Warrior, many creature types. Birds of Paradise.
So it's a little different this time. It's a different start to this game. Pretty similar, but a little different. Alright, so 3 mana Sword of War and Peace for Brian.
That's another card that might be able to come out of the deck post-sideboard.
Yeah.
I might leave a couple of them in.
And Ryan matches it with a Phyrexian Metamorph, copying Sword of War and Peace.
I don't know if copying Sword of War and Peace is the greatest. I mean, the major issue with copying Sword of War and Peace is, you're taking 2 from the copy, your opponent gets the first crack with the sword, and, now...
it's not the relevant sword either.
Yeah, I mean, so Ryan's going to take an additional 5 from this sword if Brian chooses to equip and attack, so he's going to be taking a total of 8. Meanwhile, Brian's going to be gaining 5, going to 25.
And there it is, Llanowar Elves. Pretty deft with the blade himself. He's holding one in the back, in the artwork. Obviously a swordsman.
Brian drops to 12 here. Brian goes up to 25. Missing his 3rd land drop, though. 10? Why 10? 3 plus 5 is 8? Oh, Phyrexian Metamorph dealt him 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan attacking with his own sort of creature. This is going to hit Brian for 7, putting him down to 18, and Ryan is going to gain 6, putting himself at 16.
That's why he didn't play his land.
Yeah.
Gain an extra life.
Gets another bird post-combat.
Yeah, so...
Now, I don't know if anybody's ever played this sort of War and Peace game where you're both just casting...
Yeah, it's like the pendulum kind of back and forth. Like, I gain a bunch, you lose a bunch, you gain a bunch, I lose a bunch. It's kind of funny how the life totals are going to be nuts. Going to have to be on your toes over there, changing those life totals. And
a Strangler guys, those are still in post sideboard,
yeah.
And let's see, Brian chooses to attack with both creatures again. This time the sword is going to deal a bonus 4 damage to Ryan, so Ryan's going to be taking 7 from the Llanowar Elf and plus sword, and he's going to take another 2, so he's going to take a total of 9 here, thus falling to 7, and Brian is going to be gaining 4 and going to 22. Or no, did he only play 1 card? So he's going to be getting 5 again.
Yeah, he just played 1, right, yeah.
Okay. So
I was trying to figure out where you were getting 4.
So 23 to 7. Ah, that draw step. Always forgetting about that draw step.
Yeah. Oh, we get to draw a card at the beginning of our turn, too?
Oh, good.
I thought all these cards just sat here.
Ryan's going to gain some life again. Attack Brian. Unless, of course, he has an acidic slime to kill this Sword of War and Peace.
Yeah, that'd be pretty clutch right here. But he decides he wants to pad his life total a bit.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable, especially if he doesn't have the acidic slime. He could have, if he has Forest and Green Sentient, if he could have gotten an acidic slime if he wanted.
And this is for an Incorruptor. Oh.
That would be good.
So he put the hand up.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a discussion kind of hand or if that was a pass the turn kind of hand.
It looks like it was a discussion kind of hand.
Yeah, considering stuff is still happening.
It's important to be clear about things like that, though.
It is Dungrove Elder. And birds making other birds.
And, I mean, it's especially important to be clear about that type of thing when you're at a tournament with international players.
Yeah.
I've seen many disputes where players who speak different languages are confused because one player put their hand up and the other thought they were passing the turn.
Yeah.
And then it's confused when the other person did what they thought was a take back.
Players in $10 draft number 3, please report to the side of stage.
Alright, so Brian now facing quite a bit of pressure.
You know, if he attacks here, Ryan can simply turn the Strangler Rootgeist into a 3/2 and chump block the Llanowar Elf. and get another Bastion with his Sordid Bird and play out his hand.
Interesting, neither player has played any sort of artifact destruction here, even though both seem to have plenty. I'm assuming that means they haven't drawn it yet, because Sword seems like a reasonable target, unless they're just really like saving it for Sword of Feast and Famine.
Which may be happening.
Right.
I mean, that the card, essentially, like, if that card sticks in play, you're winning.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be particularly close.
Okay.
And it's even cold inside here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, when I first came in, I'm like, oh, good, they have the heat on. It's, you know, it's freezing outside and it's really hot in here, but seems to have changed. I think it's that door right there that opened up a little while ago by itself. It was haunted, I think.
Yeah. The Strangleroot Geist coming out.
All right. So Strangleroot Geist and the Llanowar Elves join forces in the red zone.
I think Ryan here is probably going to chump with the bird and block the Strangleroot Geist with the Dungrove Elder.
And fully puts the Dungrove Elder in front of the Geist, exactly as you predicted. And I think, I don't think he chumped.
Really? Taking another sword hit?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Alright, interesting.
Yeah, it's like, he must really think he needs that bird.
Yeah, bird must be important.
It's worth that much damage. And life gain on the other side, too.
I'd be interested to ask what he had in his hand at this point in the game.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see it next turn. For those of you just joining us, you're watching live coverage of the StarCityGames.com Open Series here in Cincinnati, Ohio, where we're watching Brian versus Ryan, both playing mono green. Brian Kuhn on the right, Ryan Balderas on the left. Mono green mirror match. We saw this deck do very well last week, putting, what, 3 copies in the top 16?
Yeah, 1 player, Todd Anderson, actually, making top 8 with the deck. 3 players into the top 16. There were only 5 people playing the deck and 3 made top 16. That's really impressive. One of the players who actually came in 16th place, Max, came up to
Brown,
the booth
I think
afterward.
was his name.
Yeah, came up to the booth afterward and told us that, you know, had he not misplayed, he would have top 8 of the tournament. And he was very upset with himself that, of course, the time he misplaced to miss top 8 was the time he was playing mono green.
So, in the meantime, Brian Kuhn has added his own Dungrove Elder to the board. Pass back to Ryan, and it looks like Ryan swings in with his birds and Sword of War and Peace. Both players battling with Sword of War and Peace right now, although Ryan's is Phyrexian Metamorph version of it. So now we're trying to find out what exactly was so important that Ryan keep his Birds of Paradise around and not chump block. And I'm still not clear on why that was, because there's an untapped bird right there.
Viridian Corruptor, probably being searched up right now.
Yep.
Going to target Sword of War and Peace.
Yeah, so that'll help Ryan quite a bit, although now he is facing down an opposing Dungrove Elder that was not there before. But yeah, I mean, what is he doing with that bird that he could have chumped with? Any ideas?
I mean, maybe he just
wanted to save it for when it was more useful.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, I guess the only thing I'd really be worried about is that by doing that, he puts himself in range to just be fatalityed by a sort of Feast and Famine. Like, his opponent goes, if his opponent just has, you know, at any point enough forests to play. Like, he gives his opponent the opportunity to have enough forests in play at some point in the game where he could just equip a Dungrove Elder and just kill him.
I mean, he can do it right now. He's got access to 5 mana.
But it's still, I don't think it would be enough damage right now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The Dungrove Elder would only be a 6/6. All right, Corruptor blocks Dungrove Elder. Pretty good block there.
Very good block by Ryan. Ryan understands that if you block a Dungrove Elder with a Viridian Corruptor, then your Dungrove Elder will beat that Dungrove Elder in the next confrontation.
Exactly. It's like the old, the Tarmogoyf battles where you'd want, like, or even in Legacy now with, like, Exalted. My Tarmogoyf's bigger than your Tarmogoyf, just because of Exalted.
Yeah, Noble Hierarch makes someone you win an Exalted war.
Yeah, so Acidic Slime comes out and takes out Balderas' sword copy. So now we have no swords on board. And Ryan with
sort of
3 forests, 3 birds of paradise, and a Dungrove Elder on board. And Brian Kuhn on the other side with, I think, 4 forests, a Llanowar Elves, a Dungrove Elder with 2 -1/-1 counters, an Acidic Slime, and an undead Strangleroot Geist. So it's got a +1/+1 counter on it. Now Balderas adds Garrick Primal Hunter, +1s. Assume they're looking for a beast token. There's a beast.
He very much wanted to use his Jinx card.
Yeah.
A beast is somewhat iconic Magic creature type. Nice that they still choose to include that on cards instead of making them more specific.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of like fun for like casual players who want to still use cards like Contested Cliffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the support of the old kind of creature types, especially token versions like the soldiers and the elves and the beasts, things like that. I think there really shouldn't be like ridiculous numbers of creatures, creature types that have like tokens for them. Like,
yeah, like if something's a pig, it should just be a beast.
Right. It also gives us more options between like what tokens. So if you like the artwork on a certain one, like for instance zombies, there's tons of different zombie tokens. I like the ones from the core set, like the M12 ones, and other people like the ones from Innistrad, but they're all 2/2 zombies. So we have another Strangleroot Geist for Kuhn, and now a Green Sun Zenith. Things really look good for Kuhn here. He's really putting a lot of pressure on the board. Although Balderas is not out of it yet, especially with a Planeswalker to help.
Yeah, Brian Kuhn can make a pretty big attack here in order to kill this Garrick Primal Hunter, but Ryan can kind of hurt his board very badly if he decides to make that really big attack.
Furry Lobster on Twitter points out that Todd Anderson's Pro Tour deck only has 2 Strangleroot Geist. So that may be what influenced the decision for Balderas to only play 2. He may be playing the exact list.
Garrick Primal Hunter showing himself to be very strong here. Now, I thought that was, when I first saw Garrick Primal Hunter, I was very surprised that it didn't get picked up right away and start seeing a ton of play.
Yeah, it took a couple months, pretty much until Innistrad came out, right?
So that card is quite good.
All right. Trying to decide on some blocks here.
Ryan decides to get in there with everything, sending it all into the red zone. Leaves back an Acidic Slime, allowing him to effectively block a Dungrove Elder. Ryan going to fall to 1 here if he makes the obvious blocks. But if he wants to, he could also eat the Llanowar Elf with his beast and chump with his bird, and then fall to 2. And that actually puts him in a much better board state.
Yeah, it leaves him with a lot more.
So I think the correct play is Beast block Llanowar Elf, Dungrove Elder block Dungrove Elder, Bird block 3/2 Stranglegeist. Take 4, go to 3.
Yeah, I like that.
That seems good. You're left with
Dungrove Elder,
Beast, and your opponent still has the triple Strangleroot Slime Elves, but next turn you get to make a Beast and cast whatever in your hand.
Now, do we know he's not attacking Garrick?
Chooses to block Strangleroot Geist. Now, the big problem with it continually blocking these Strangleroot Geist, even though he's blocking and his guys aren't dying, is, by
now he's just got a bigger Strangleroot Geist. Like this is undying, like at its finest, right?
He starts to take the game over. And again, I think Ryan might be a little afraid of chump blocking here. Because currently, if this game goes on for much longer, Ryan's going to be in an excellent position to win the game with Garrick in play. But
can he make it go much longer? That's the problem.
If you're just chumping these Strangleroot Geist, then or blocking and trading the Strangleroot Geist, it's going to be really hard. Another Dungrove Elder for Ryan.
And Green Sun Zenith for Strangleroot Geist.
And that seems pretty good here.
Yeah.
He's going to make himself another beast. Garrick is allowing Ryan to pull ahead here. We're watching the power of Garrick Primal Hunter.
Players, at your earliest convenience, I need the 3 following players: Nick Beckvar, James Bush, and Tom Wayman. At your earliest convenience. If you are in a match right now, please come when your match is finished. Thank you.
So Brian's got 3 Strangleroot Geists on board, 2 that have leveled up through the graveyard. One Acidic Slime and a Llanowar Elves also on board. Did he lose? He lost his Dungrove Elder, right? It's not like off camera. It was the shrunken Dungrove Elder.
Yeah, I believe it
lost in the
got
last
eaten
attack.
by another Dungrove Elder.
Creature decks are just too confusing.
Yeah, these board states get like pretty complex.
Yeah.
I've had many friends over the years who have really enjoyed formats like Vintage and Legacy, where they have these really complex single turns, but who just consider themselves to be pretty bad at Limited because they just don't like doing combat math and hate like figuring it all out and doing this over and over every single turn. And Standard is becoming a lot more like Limited, and combat math is really important right now.
Yeah, I'd rather stick with something easy and straightforward like control decks.
Yeah.
Because they're easy to play.
I think control decks may actually be easier now.
Right now, I know.
We've crossed that threshold.
I'm sort of joking, but I'm sort of serious. Like, really, like what I'd be doing right now is going, I just need a Wrath Effect, and that simplifies everything. All right, we're good. Let's simplify this board.
Those of you just joining us now, in round 1, we got to watch Adam Prozac defeat his opponent by casting a Sorin Markov and putting his opponent's life total at 10, only to haymaker his opponent with a Sorin's Vengeance for the kill next turn.
Yeah, that was awesome. Sorry for all the camera shaking there. It's actually players bumping into the camera that is causing that. Players outside of the two playing on camera.
Garrett continuing to make a big impact here. Just flooding the board with these 3/3s. So important in this green mirror. Oh, Bellowing Tangleworm
still in his deck.
Why is that there?
I mean, just as a fatty. That's it. That is really strange. I'd love to understand that logic. Did he really just not have something else better to bring in?
No, he did.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, was that he was like, yeah, Bellowing Tangleworm.
Bellowing Tangleworm.
All right, things are pretty clogged up here. Garrick is all right. I'm drawing him some cards.
I like that play a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And now that he's finally running out of gas, he can just refill.
Right, he's really, upset the balance that we have on board right now, which is exactly what he wants to do.
And this game is really dangerous, though, because at any point Brian could just draw Sword of Feast and Famine and end it.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan has access to Sword of Feast and Famine as well.
Yeah, it doesn't kill him, and it doesn't kill Brian in one turn. Yeah,
but he does have quite a lot of guys too, so.
Who knows, maybe somebody has a naturalize in hand to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's the other thing, is we're sitting here, in a sense playing draw go, although they are playing some guys. Garrick's, drawing him some cards, but, especially Ryan just drew a ton of cards, so maybe there's a naturalize or some sort of artifact removal there.
Ryan, that last turn, even after drawing all those cards with Garrick the turn before, just passed the turn without a play. I mean, he either drew a lot of lands, which will be fine with his Dungrove Elder, or he's got some naturalizes in his hand. Alright, so he decides to play a Llanowar Elf, double Llanowar Elf. So he had one of them in his hand last turn.
Is he going to Genesis Wave here?
That'd be exciting.
That would be. Unfortunately, they're not in the deck. All right, Garrick.
They're continuing to do work here.
Looks like he's going to the bin. Drawing some more cards. I think Ryan got a lot out of that Garrick. What, 5 beasts, 10 cards or something off of it? That Garrick was worth the mana investment several times over, I think. And Brian kind of just let him stick it around. All right.
There's one that matters.
Yeah. So now it all comes down to.
So does Brian draw a sword on his next turn, or does he lose?
Well, what do we? Balderas has 2 Dungrove Elders, a Strangleroot Geist, a Bellowing Tangleworm, 2 Llanowar Elves, and 5 beasts, and 3 birds. Not that they're doing much here. How much can he get in for? How many forests does he have? 5?
So minus 11.
I'm counting.
Yeah. He's definitely as lethal. He gets in for 19. He gets in for 21. Even if Brian maximizes the amount of damage he's blocking, he gets in for 21 now.
How many okay, he's got more than 5 forests.
He has 6.
Okay. Did he just play one? I thought I just counted 5 a minute ago. I must have just played one. Oh, another Green Sun Zenith. Or is he shuffling it back? No, he's
Did
playing
Brian
another
just
one.
F6 him? But then again, Brian has a naturalize.
That would be...
That throws the math off.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Attention players in standard one box number 1. Your event's about to begin.
Man.
Please report to the side event stage.
You don't expect the mono green matchups
Please report to the side event
to
stage.
go this long.
Well, actually, I mean,
I guess
don't they just go on forever? Because it's just 2 guys who have like a bunch of creatures with no evasion and like they don't really interact with their opponents. They're just playing dudes.
That's a good point. Once it gets to this point, if one of them doesn't kind of win early and gives the other a chance to populate the board,
And it's
it
really
pretty much
important
ends up
for
like
one
this.
person to be the first person to cast a Garrick too. Either Garrick.
Yeah.
Because if you cast it first, even if your opponent has one, you know, you're getting at least a card out of it.
So is he just swinging in just with the Dungrove Elder here?
Looks like it.
Yeah. All that work, and he's like...
All that work, and he's like, I'm just going to play around naturalized.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
that seems fine.
after this much time, chances are Brian has a naturalize. I think that's fair to play around it.
Players in the standard open, that is time in round number 2. Active player finish your turn followed by 5 additional turns. Judges, please find an open match.
I'm most surprised that Ryan chose to use his Llanowar Elves for mana but before attacking the Sword of Feast and Famine. Or he had tapped out, right? No, he did. Okay,
yeah,
never mind.
He tapped
I'm
out
sorry.
and then attacked. Yeah, he untapped there. He already got in. What are the life totals? And there's Garrick Relentless. Takes out the acidic slime and flips.
And now's the moment of truth. Will Brian be able to draw a Sword of Feast and Famine this turn? And that's what Brian's looking for here, a Sword of Feast and Famine. Close the game up.
We're trying to get life totals, but having a couple issues here. But I mean, I think just that Dungrove Elder was the only thing that attacked it, the only thing that got in. So it should be,
and
maybe
that's
Brian should be at 9 here.
Yeah, Brian passes the turn back to Ryan, and Ryan can just turn his team sideways, and that's it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, there's really no... I mean, how many blockers does he have? Is that... Yeah, he's got 2 birds, a Llanowar Elf, and 4 other blockers. So he's got 7 blockers. Block the biggest 7 guys.
All right, Ryan getting
He's at 8.
creative. Sacrificing a Strangler Geist to make it bigger to his Garrick, to use the Survival of the Fittest ability on...
Yeah, that's pretty nice interaction there, too. The Undying with Garrick.
Now he can search his library, gets a Metamorph. That is going
copying
to be copying the sword.
And Balderas played this game really well.
Yeah, he did. And he played really well this game. Last turn he may have wanted to attack. It all comes down to whether or not he felt it was more likely that his opponent had a naturalize or that he was going to draw a Sword of Feast and Famine. But yeah.
Okay, was that a naturalize? I believe it was. Did Brian respond to the metamorph by naturalizing the sword? Graveyards are off camera, so we can't quite see, but I suspect that's what happened. so that the
I
metamorph.
would certainly expect that.
Metamorph
the Metamorph should copy
probably gonna
Strangler
copy-
Geist and then just be able to get into the red zone.
Yeah. Yeah, because the discard and the mana untapping. Well, no, what the heck? What's going? We have another
Garrick. I mean, Ryan could just turn his
another
creature
Garrick.
sideways.
Another Garrick takes out something. Takes out a blocker. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan continuing. Yeah.
And then Brian
Yeah.
Kuhn casts Fog.
Ryan eventually said, "All right, enough.
Yeah.
I've gotten to do enough on camera this game."
Yeah.
And I apologize before when I was talking about those blocks with the Llanowar Elf. I had actually stepped away to close a door that had opened because of the ghost, and I'd seen the Llanowar Elf sideways and thought it was attacking.
Trying to do the math to come out of this game, or just come out of this attack.
Yeah,
alive.
I mean this is over.
I don't know that he can. Yeah, that's really. I didn't see many ways for him to do it, but that was a good match. It was nice. It was fun magic. Watching mono green bash against each other.
Mono green decks,
You know,
bashing into one another.
I don't necessarily want to